In the ancient world, the Stoics believed that a man's worth was defined by his character, his ability to choose his own actions, regardless of external pressure. Today, we see a crisis of character. We see men who have replaced their backbone with excuses. These are the things spineless men say without shame. And today, we will use the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus to reclaim the strength that has been lost. 1. It's not my fault. The first mark of a man who has lost his way is the constant need to point the finger. Whether it is the economy, his upbringing, or his boss, he always has a reason why he is not where he wants to be. He speaks these words without shame because he believes they protect him. In reality, they are the chains that bind him. The Stoics taught us the dichotomy of control. Epictetus famously said that some things are up to us and some are not. A spineless man uses the things not up to him as a shield to avoid the things that are. When you say, "It's not my fault," you are telling the universe that you are a victim. You are handing over the keys to your life to someone else. Imagine a man who fails to provide for his family because he lost his job. Instead of looking at his own lack of discipline or his failure to adapt his skills to a changing market, he tells his wife, "The company was unfair. It's not my fault." By saying this, he ensures he will never improve. He remains stagnant, comfortably numb in his victimhood. A man of character says, "The layoff was not in my control, but my response is, I will find a way." 2. I don't want to cause any trouble. This phrase often masquerades as kindness or being a nice guy, but the Stoics would call it for what it truly is: cowardice. A man who says, "I don't want to cause any trouble," is usually a man who is terrified of conflict. He sees injustice happening in front of him, or he feels his own boundaries being crossed, and he remains silent to maintain a false sense of peace. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations that, "Often injustice lies in what you aren't doing, not only in what you are doing. Silence in the face of wrong is not a virtue. It is a betrayal of the truth. When you avoid causing trouble at the expense of your values, you are slowly erasing your own soul." Consider a man at a meeting where a colleague is being unfairly blamed for a mistake. He knows the truth, but he stays quiet, staring at his notebook, thinking he is being professional. He hasn't kept the peace. He has simply allowed the environment to become more toxic while losing a piece of his own self-respect. True peace is found in standing for what is right, even if the world around you becomes loud. 3. Whatever you want, it doesn't matter to me. Passivity is the slow death of the masculine spirit. A spineless man often abdicates his power of choice to others, whether it's his partner, his friends, or his colleagues. He thinks that by having no opinion, he is being easygoing. In reality, he is showing that he has no center. He has no internal compass. To the Stoics, having a clear purpose and firm principles was essential. If you don't know what you stand for, you will fall for everything. When a man says, "It doesn't matter to me," he is saying that his own preferences and values are worthless. Think of a man who always lets others decide his path, what he eats, where he goes, how he spends his time. Eventually, those around him lose respect for him, not because he is being difficult, but because he isn't being anything. He has become a ghost in his own life. A Stoic knows that while he can be flexible, he must always have a core of conviction that defines who he is. 4. I'll do it tomorrow. Procrastination is more than a bad habit. It is a form of moral failure. To a spineless man, tomorrow is a magical land where all his courage and discipline live. He says this without shame because it allows him to feel the relief of a decision without the pain of the work. Seneca warned us that while we waste our time hesitating and procrastinating, life goes on. A man who lacks a spine is a man who is afraid of the present moment. He is afraid of the struggle, so he pushes it into a future that never arrives. He makes promises to himself that he never intends to keep. Imagine a man who knows he needs to have a difficult conversation with his father or start a project that will change his children's future. Every night he tells himself, "I'll start tomorrow." He feels a temporary sense of peace, but his spirit knows the truth. Each tomorrow is a brick in the wall of his own prison. The Stoic understands that the only time he truly owns is the present. But the Stoics had an even deeper insight. They realize that these phrases are not just habits of speech, they are symptoms of a deeper sickness, the fear of being seen for who we truly are. Most men speak this way because they are terrified of the responsibility that comes with being a man of substance. It is easier to be a shadow than to be a pillar. But as we move into the final 4 lessons, ask yourself, are you seeking comfort or are you seeking character? 5. I'm just waiting for things to get better. This is the mantra of the passive man. He views life as a theater where he is merely a member of the audience, waiting for the plot to change. He believes that external circumstances must align perfectly before he can take action. He waits for the right time, for the economy to shift, or for a lucky break. The Stoic knows that the world owes him nothing. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself that the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. A man of spine doesn't wait for things to get better. He makes them better through his own agency. Imagine a man stuck in a relationship that has grown cold, complaining to his friends for years. He says he's waiting for things to change. Meanwhile, another man initiates the difficult conversations, seeks counseling, or makes the hard choice to leave. The first man is waiting for a miracle. The second man is taking responsibility. One lives in hope, which the Stoics viewed as a dangerous emotion if not coupled with action. The other lives in reality. 6. Why does this always happen to me? This is the ultimate cry of the victim mentality. It suggests that the universe has a personal vendetta against you. A spineless man says this because it relieves him of the need to look at his own patterns. If the universe is against him, then there is no point in trying to change. The Stoics practiced amor fati, the love of fate. They didn't just tolerate the things that happened to them, they embraced them as fuel for growth. When you ask, why me? You are rejecting life. You are saying that you are too fragile to handle the challenges that come your way. Think of a man whose business fails. Instead of asking, what was my part in this? How can I grow? He cries, why do I always have such bad luck? He repeats the same mistakes because he refuses to learn the lesson. A man with a spine looks at a disaster and says, this is exactly what I needed to become stronger. How can I use this? 7. What will people think? A man who lives for the opinion of others is a slave. He may look free, but he is wearing invisible chains. He dresses for others, speaks for others, and makes his major life decisions based on a phantom audience. He says this without shame because we live in a culture that worships reputation over reality. The Stoics were famously indifferent to the opinions of the crowd. Marcus Aurelius asked, we all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own. It is a profound irony that ruins many lives. Imagine a man who wants to pursue a creative calling but doesn't, because he's afraid his neighbors will think he's unstable. He stays in a miserable office job to maintain an image of success for people who don't even care about him. He has traded his destiny for a few nods of approval. A man of character cares only about the judgment of his own conscience. 8. I had no choice. This is the most dangerous lie a man can tell himself. Unless someone is physically forcing your hand, you almost always have a choice. A spineless man uses this phrase to justify his betrayals, his laziness, and his lack of integrity. He says it to sleep at night, but it is the sleep of the dead. Viktor Frankl, who survived the horrors of the camps, said that the last of the human freedoms is to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances. If a man in the worst conditions imaginable had a choice, you have a choice. Consider a man who lies to a friend because it's easier than telling a painful truth. He shrugs and says, I had no choice. I didn't want to hurt him. He has sold his integrity to avoid discomfort. He chose a lie. A Stoic knows that you always have the choice to suffer the consequences of doing the right thing. Reclaiming your strength is not about a sudden heroic act. It is about 1,000 small decisions made in the dark. First, practice the circle of responsibility. Every time you are tempted to say, it's not my fault, stop. Even if you are only 1% responsible, focus entirely on that 1%. Own it. Fix it. This builds the muscle of agency. Second, practice intentional discomfort. The spineless man is a slave to his comfort. Take cold showers, go for a long walk in the rain, or speak up when it's socially awkward to do so. By intentionally facing small fears, you prepare yourself for the large ones. Third, speak with precision. Stop using vague language like, "I'll try" or "maybe." Use "I will" or "I won't." A man who can say no without an apology is a man who finally has a yes that carries weight. There is a quote by Marcus Aurelius that serves as the ultimate antidote to the spineless life. Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be one. This quote is a call to end the talking, the excusing, and the posturing. It reminds us that virtue is not a theory we discuss over coffee. It is a practice we embody in the heat of life. A man's spine is not made of bone, it is made of his actions. Every time you choose the truth over a lie, responsibility over an excuse, and action over procrastination, you are forging that spine. As you go about your day, pay attention to the words that leave your lips. Are they the words of a man who owns his life, or the words of a man who is hiding from it? The world does not need more nice guys who are afraid of their own shadow. It needs men of depth. It needs men who can be trusted because they have a center that cannot be bought or broken. It is never too late to stop being the reed and start being the mountain. The transition will be painful. You will lose the comfort of your excuses. You may even lose the approval of those who preferred you when you were weak. But in exchange, you will gain something that no one can ever take from you: the quiet, steady respect of the man in the mirror. If this message resonated with you, I invite you to leave a comment below. Tell us, which of these phrases have you been guilty of saying, and what is one small step you will take today to reclaim your strength? Your journey toward a Stoic life is a shared one. Subscribe to join us as we continue to explore the timeless wisdom that turns boys into men and men into leaders.